Alrighty. Welcome. Make sure the volume is good. All right, let's see. Okay, yes. Volume is good. All right. Welcome everyone to our Trauma Talk Radio live broadcast with your Freedom Coach, Nataushia Miller. Trauma Talk Radio is a podcast committing to helping people live a freedom from trauma lifestyle, one conversation at a time. And there are two components to the podcast. We have one is where I'm out and about living my life, and we interview everyday people about overcoming life traumas. And then two, we have the Trauma Talk Radio live broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram on Mondays. And that's what we're here for today. During the Trauma Talk Radio live broadcast, we open up with specific content about trauma, and then the lines are open where those viewers who are here for the live broadcast can call in for conversation, can join me here on the live broadcast. And so that is what Trauma Talk Radio is all about. So let's get into our content this evening. And remember, Trauma Talk Radio is all about conversation, it's all about dialogue. So if there's no one present during the live broadcast to have a conversation, to have dialogue, we typically end the broadcast after the content share. But if there's people present, and even if you're not comfortable with coming on to the live airing, you can, if people are here and they're engaging in the chat, we'll stay on longer, because Trauma Talk Radio is about conversation, dialogue, not monologue, just me talking. So let's get into our content for this evening before we open up the lines where viewers can call in. And I wanted to talk about 4 freedom gains versus trauma loss. Freedom gains versus trauma loss. Now, trauma is anything that violates your internal sense of safety, security. Stability is anything that makes you feel internally unsafe, insecure, emotionally, mentally, spiritually unstable. And with trauma, typically loss is connected to it as well as pain. So it causes pain and there is a loss. And that's why there is pain, because of the loss associated with a traumatic experience. And typically, we can become so overwhelmed and consumed by the loss that we're unable to identify all there is to gain from a traumatic experience. There's always gain amid the loss. And I remember when I first was really seeking to capture this concept is after I experienced a lot of loss. Like, it was like Hurricane Katrina, and then my mom's husband had passed away, and job loss. It was just like loss. And I remember having a conversation with one of my colleagues, because they were experiencing a lot of loss in their lives as well. And that's what we were talking about. And I just remember declaring on that call, it's like, you know what? I have to have faith that there is so much to gain amid the pain of the loss. There is something to gain amid the pain of the loss. And that was a journey of searching for what are the gains amid the loss of that comes as a result of trauma. So I want to share 4 freedom gains that we can acquire amid trauma loss. The first one is healing. A traumatic experience always presents an opportunity, 9 times out of 10, it presents the opportunity for us to acquire healing because it exposes suppressed pain and unaddressed issues of our heart due to past traumas. So, a current trauma in our life can expose the residue of past traumas that we're still harboring in our soul realms, our mind, our emotions, our will, which is our power to decide. So, we can gain healing from the loss that accompanies a traumatic experience. It is an opportunity to heal and no longer carry residue from not only the trauma experience that we're up against in the now, but from the past traumatic experiences as well. So healing is a gain amid trauma loss. Number 2 is envision. Envision. So amid trauma loss, it presents an opportunity for us to gain clarity, to capture fresh vision of our life on the other side of a traumatic experience. Um, one of the reasons why there's loss and pain associated with trauma is because we can't go back to how life was or who we were before the traumatic experience. It's like we have to figure out what is our new norm, what is what does the future hold now that X, Y, and Z is no longer going to be a part of what I envisioned for my future. So it really gives us an opportunity to capture fresh clarity, fresh vision, fresh strategies to rebuild those areas of our lives that the traumatic experience has impacted. And that's something to be excited about. That's something that's fun. It's a discovery process. So, and there's gain in that. There's so much gain in the envisioning part that we gain from the traumatic experience. It's like pivot time, and we are envisioning what that pivot is going to look like. All right. And then number 3. So, number 1 was healing. Number 2 is envision. Number 3 is activation. Activation. So, trauma loss presents an opportunity for us to be activated in areas that we did not even realize we needed to be activated. What is activated? Strengths, talents that were dormant that we didn't even know we possessed. Um, Higher dimensions of some of the substance we already had. So say we had courage, we have love, but we tap into a higher dimension of that love, a higher dimension of courage, a higher dimension of grace if we are believers who rely on Christ Jesus. So it really gives us an opportunity for there's an opportunity for us to be activated in ways in which we were not um, before, that's really helping us maximize our potential, that's really maximizing our skill set, and it's really expanding that as well. That's what the activation does. It expands those skills and expands us in ways that we didn't know we could expand because had not the trauma experience is what the traumatic experience, the loss triggered that activation. And now we're expanding and becoming more in that process. So, number 1, heal is a gain. The second gain is envision. The third gain is activation. And the fourth gain is transformation. Amid trauma loss, there is an opportunity for us to transform into a better version of ourselves, transform into the solution we may need with that the problem that the traumatic loss, the problem that the traumatic loss presented to us. It really exposes areas of insecurities and fear, and we can transform that fear into power. We could transform that insecurity into confidence. So it gives us an opportunity to transform, to come out of a place of scarcity in the realms of our soul and really walk in the fullness of abundance that is ours to walk in. Freedom is a state of being. So the freedom gains is really all about us being while becoming freedom. It is a state of being. It is a mindset. It is a particular perspective. It is all those things. It's wholeness. So wholeness is a result of the healing. It's clarity of vision. That's the result of the envision. It's creative. It's innovative. That's a result of innovation. And it is what can I say, expansive, evolving, and that's the result of transformation. So those are the 4 freedom gains that I wanted to present this evening. The 4 freedom gains amid trauma loss. And my hope is that it will help each of us, I should say, help all of us shift our perspective when we encounter a traumatic experience, to where we do not allow the trauma to get us in a space where we're so consumed with the pain and the loss that we're unable to identify the gain and engage in that to acquire more freedom in our lives. So remember, trauma always presents an opportunity for us to gain when we are intentional about seeing beyond the lost. All right, that's it. So, since no one is here for the live broadcast, our Trauma Talk Radio live broadcast ends at this point for tonight. So, this is your Freedom Coach, Nataushia Miller, signing off until next time. And I look forward to seeing you all again here again next Monday for another Trauma Talk Radio live broadcast. Peace and freedom until next time. Bye-bye.